This is the MGTOW Infinium here with another Infinium Free Talk. This Infinium Free Talk is entitled The Collateral Extent of Things. My brothers, we all know that due to the ever-increasing numbers of men who are refusing to marry, the wedding industry is in full collapse. Up until recently, this collapse has been more focused on the female side of things, like bridal shops, jewelers, etc. But it is now beginning to spread to the male side of things, which also supports the wedding industry. That being the male formal wear industry. In short, because men are refusing to marry in increasing numbers, the numbers of men who will be best men, groomsmen, etc. are accordingly dropping. Also accordingly, those numbers of best men, groomsmen, etc. who will need formal wear are as well dropping. It should be noted here that a large segment of those men who refuse to marry are MGTOWs, thereby making them a direct contributor to the overall collapse of the wedding industry. My brothers, the following is a news segment which covers the sudden closure of Owl's Formal Wear, which has locations in Texas. In the use of this content, I cite fair use policies. Here now is the news segment.
It's this handwritten sign that was the first indication that something was wrong. Well, now Sunday's sudden closure of Owl's Formal Wear appears to be a closure for good. As JD Miles explains tonight, employees of the 61-year-old chain that started in Fort Worth are now worried about what's next.
First, they were told to place signs on doors saying they would be closed on Sunday. Then, early this morning, an urgent email from the owners of Owl's Formal Wear that employees were being laid off at the chain's 5 DFW locations and that the company was closing its doors for good and would cease operations.
I wish I had better answers.
Tony Abraham was an assistant manager at Owl's Formal Wear on Oak Lawn for 7 years. Now he looks inside a locked store full of merchandise, out of a job.
We came to work loyally for months and years, and we've been here for our customers, and we are as surprised as the public is, I'm sure.
Al's parent company, Dapper & Dashing, is based out of Atlanta and owns 7 other tuxedo and bridal shops across the country. None of the locations answered the phone when we called.
Dapper & Dashing customer service is closed at this time.
And this is what you get when you try to place an order at the company's main number.
Adjusted hours of operation 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern weekdays. We look forward to speaking with you at that time.
Abraham and other employees we spoke to could be focusing on their futures, but they say their immediate concern is making customers with pending orders aware so they can get refunds and make other arrangements.
My concern is that they'll have some additional stress on them that would not be, that hopefully should not have happened. But then again, I don't know if there is a plan in place and that we've just been removed from that picture scenario.
Another longtime employee who wanted to remain anonymous criticized the formal wear chain for not being more forthcoming to its customers. We are appalled and honestly disgusted at the way upper management and ownership have handled this. This isn't just a pizza joint that closed down and it only affected the employees. This intrudes on one of the most special days of someone's life, a day that we all know is not cheap. I see how stressed our brides and grooms are just planning a wedding, and then for something like this to happen. We have not been able to get a response from the company to our messages. The employees tell us they would gladly reach out to any customers themselves if they still had access to the orders. They also tell us they would like someone to buy Owl's 5 locations and rehire them. In Dallas tonight, JD Miles, CBS News, Texas.
My brothers, although the groom is the most affected by the dangers of being married, consider also that the best men, groomsmen, etc. can also be affected. This is mainly because of the wasting of their time, money, and resources. For example, in 1995, I was asked to be a groomsman in a fellow female employee's wedding. This was because her fiancé did not have the numbers of groomsmen to match with her bridesmaids. What I thought would be an enjoyable time quickly became a cray-cray nightmare from hell, which was a total waste of my time, money, and resources. As well, it was the type of you name it, it happened experience that I, as well as others who had put into this woman's wedding, which caused me to not take any type of active role in a wedding ever again. This is because the female employee walked away from the marriage within about 4 months due to her cray-cray and lack of submission to her husband. The other issue with what is happening with the downfall of the wedding industry is the inevitable overall hypocritical blaming of we men, in particular we MGTOW men, because of our anti-marriage stance. Specifically, that men are not men unless they step up to the plate and get married. And furthermore, the hypocritical extrapolation that men who do not marry are directly responsible for the negative things which are occurring within the wedding industry, like the sudden closure of Al's formal wear. My brothers, the truth of the matter is marriage is a scam in every possible way. The aforementioned is directly attributable to the abject failure of womanism overall. Womanism itself has transformed marriage from a sacred event where a man and a woman take vows to one another into a trivialized event which is nothing more than a trap for men. In such a trap, men become nothing more than slaves who have everything, including their freedom, stripped from them. In such a trap, men become subject to the Tia Maoris, who call their whimsical divorces a form of graduation. In such a trap, men become subject to the Mia Khalifas, who use marriage as a way of wiping the snot of womanism onto men's lives like their clinics tissues, which are carelessly thrown into the trash can of life after use. In such a trap, men become subject to anything and everything from being unfairly divorce raped to paternity fraud, where they have little recourse in fighting. My brothers, there are a myriad of legitimate reasons why men should not marry in this day and age. But the utmost legitimate reason is marriage has become a terrible waste of men's lives in every possible way. As such, men have the right to walk away in freedom from anything which is an overall detriment to their lives. As well, men have the right to indifferently close their ears to any type of hypocritical condemnation for their actions coming from womanists, women, or the feminist plantation state while in the process of walking away. This is the MGTOW Infinium, and this has been an Infinium Free Talk. My MGTOW brothers, as always, stay safe, stay strong, stay on the MGTOW path, and remember, MGTOW is the liberation of men's minds. MGTOW cannot and will not be stopped.